morning, students. Once again, a very warm welcome to the English world of Aradhya. Myself, Rashmin sir, imparting knowledge of English to the students of 9 to 12 standard in English medium. Students, today we will take up your sixth lesson. The title of the lesson is My Childhood. You may be familiar with this lesson. You might have studied it in earlier standard also. Remember, it is written by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, mostly is known by the missile man of India, and he also became the president of India. Okay, this particular lesson is taken from his autobiography Wings of Fire. So his autobiography's title is Wings of Fire. We will see what he talks about his childhood in this particular lesson. Okay, I was born in a middle class Tamil family in island town of Rameswaram in the erstwhile Madras state. Erstwhile Madras state means former. Now Madras is known as Chennai. Earlier its name was Madras. Okay. So he was born in an island town of Rameswaram in a middle class Tamil family. He was not born in a hi-fi family. So sometimes children born in a lower class family or middle class family, they feel that they cannot do anything because their father's income is limited. They are from that sort of background. But here you see Abdul Kalam was born in a middle class family. Then also he could reach the post of the president of the country. Understood? My father, Jainul Abdin, had neither much formal education nor much wealth. So sometimes people also complain not only about the economic background, they also complain about the knowledge of the parents, the education of the parents. When I was born, my parents were not able to guide me. They were not able to shape my future. But here you see Abdul Kalam's father, it is said that he had neither much formal education nor wealth. ज़्यादा एजुकेशन भी नहीं थी उनके पास, पैसे भी नहीं थे, संपत्ति भी नहीं थी. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom and a true generosity of spirit. So these two were the qualities of his father which he inherited. Okay, he had great innate wisdom and generosity of spirit. Means he was generous enough. Later on you will come to know he accepts that far more outsiders were eating at our house than all the family members put together. Now in Abdul Kalam's house you see his father's family. He was one of the many children, then his uncle's family. So in that particular house about 30-40 people used to live together. And what it is said that many more people, outsiders, more than all the family members put together were eating at Abdul Kalam's house. So suppose the number of Abdul Kalam's family members is 40, then more than 40 people again would eat at Abdul Kalam's house. So they had to prepare daily food for about 80 people, 80-90 people. Okay. And what is said, if he is rich enough, he can afford to feed so many people. But here it is said that he did not have much wealth. What he had was generosity of spirit. दिल की उदारता थी. इसलिए इतने बाहरी लोगों को भी वो खिलाते थे हर रोज. Okay. He had an ideal helpmate in my mother, Ashiyamma. So mother's name was Ashiyamma, and she was just an ideal helpmate to his father. Okay. Yeah, Ashiyamma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day. But I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our family members put together. So I already told you about that. I was one of many children. So you remember, he was not the only son or he was not the one of the two brothers, but he was one of the many children. So you see, again, that is a burden on the parents to feed so many children. They were feeding not only their own children and family members, but they were also feeding the outsider people who were more than their family members. A short boy with rather undistinguished looks. So at the greater age also, if you have found Abdul Kalam, he did not have any distinguished look. Sometimes some people say that no, they don't have that photogenic face, which can be put in advertisement, or they can come in any work in any serial or movie. So here you see Kalam accepts that he had rather undistinguished looks, those looks which were not attracted enough. Born to tall and handsome parents. So his parents, mother and father, both were tall and handsome. Handsome means good looking. Okay. We lived in our ancestral house, which was built in the middle of the 19th century. So you see, middle of the 19th century means around 1850. 1801 to 1900 is 19th century. So in the middle of the 19th century means 1850 के आसपास के time में they had built that particular house. That's why he says that we used to live in our ancestral house. हमारे पूर्वजों के घर में हम रहते थे, जो कि 19th century के middle में बना था, यानी 1850 के आसपास. Okay. Then it was a fairly large pakka house made of limestone and brick. Okay. On the mosque street in Rameshwaram. So exact location is also given to us where that particular house is. On the mosque street in Rameshwaram. Okay. My austere father, austere means very simple, strict and severe. Okay. Meaning is already given. My austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. Understood? So this is one thing. Those people who have generosity of spirit, they will not enjoy any luxuries or unnecessary comforts. They would let them go. But those who are not generous of spirit, those who don't have generosity of spirit, students, they will go for all these luxuries. That is a natural observation. Okay? तो यहाँ ये क्या है, इनकी दिल की उदारता इतनी थी कि वो खुद को तो ये अननेसेसरी कंफर्ट्स डालते थे, खुद ऐशो आराम की जिंदगी नहीं जीते थे. Then only he could feed more outsiders than his family members to put together. Okay. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine, or clothes. So these are our basic necessities, students. And till certain age, you see, we expect the parents to provide all those things to us. Then once we reach near the marriage age, or you say once we complete our education, the parents expect us to earn. And it is our moral duty that we have to earn for our family members. Then when we get married, we have our own children, then we have to maintain them also. Then we have to provide the needs of those people. Earlier our parents were providing our needs. Okay, so here he says that all our basic necessities like food, clothes and medicines, if they got sick, whatever expense was there for treatment, all those were borne by the parents. Okay. I would say mine was a very secure childhood. Okay. Both materially and emotionally. So you see, he accepts that his was a secured childhood, students. Secured yani salamat. Okay. So materially also, whatever he needed was provided by his parents. And secondly, emotionally also, because he would remain in touch of so many family members, in touch of his parents also. In the present world, this situation is slightly different. Okay, we find in many families, husband and wife both are working. So they are not able to give enough time to their children. Okay. Students, they might provide all the necessities, some extra necessities also. Okay, their needs they are providing, their wants are also they providing. But what they are not providing is time. They are not able to afford or allot enough time to their children. And that's why they are secured, materially they are secured, but emotionally they are not. Okay, emotionally वो उनके टच में नहीं रहते, जो मांगे वो लाके दे देते हैं. So students, there that emotional touch is lacking over there. Now we move ahead in the story. The Second World War broke out in 1939. This you must remember, students, this particular year. 2 world wars have taken place so far. First was in 1914 to 1918, and second was from 1939 to 1945. Remember these dates. So Second World War broke out in 1939. Okay. Now what happened at that time? When I was 8 years old, for reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. Suddenly there was a demand for these tamarind seeds. Okay. And then what happened? I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. Okay, so that was his first earning, students. First time he earned that money by collecting tamarind seeds and selling them to the provisional shop. And whole day he collected all the seeds. Then when he went to sell them, he would get just 1 anna. But then also he considers that 1 anna is a princely sum, means huge amount, big amount. For a child, it was a big amount. Okay. These days you are surprised with the new money. When we talk about the old money, students, 10 paise, 5 paise, 25 paise, you might be surprised. So in our time when we were talking, we were hearing about 1 anna, 2 anna, even we were surprised. Because Abdul Kalam was about 25, 30 years ahead of us. So that time you see, the situation was normal. Whatever transactions were done had little money, very little money. In little money they could earn, they could get many more things. तो यहाँ 1 anna उनके लिए बहुत बड़ी रकम थी. In my time 1 anna was not in use. मेरे टाइम में स्टूडेंट्स आई टेल यू 5 पैसे 10 पैसे 25 पैसे ये सब चल रहे थे. बराबर. तो तब 1 anna था ही नहीं. फिर अभी तुम्हारे टाइम में 5 rupees 10 rupees, those are the minimum amounts. Okay, you may be using in your school recess, during school recess time. Okay, so here you see, even it was 1 anna, he says that it was a princely sum, princely amount, यानी कुछ अच्छा amount है, huge amount. Okay, generous amount over here. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. So that time war was going on, so every day they would come to know about some happenings in the war. And his brother-in-law, okay, Jalaluddin, he would tell him whatever happened in the war. And next day he would try to find those same things, same news in the newspaper Dinamani. Understood? So that was the situation. Then our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. Our area means India. Remember, students, the Second World War took place between the countries. One side they had Japan, Germany, and all those countries. The other side they had France, England, USA, USSR. But India was not involved. So that's why he says that our area completely isolated, yani completely unaffected. Okay, isolated था पहले तो. So क्या है, was completely unaffected because it was isolated. इसमें war में हमने हिस्सा ही नहीं लिया था. But remember that time Britishers were ruling over India. So later on Britishers also forced the Indian army to join the war. Our soldiers were also sent. Okay, we will come to know about that. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. Okay, बाद में इंडिया को भी ज्वाइन कर लिया because Britishers were ruling, so they sent our Indian soldiers also to fight for them. And soldiers' duty is what? Whatever the general says, they have to carry it out. Okay, so that's why our Indian soldiers were also forced to go and fight for them. And because of that, in India also a state of emergency was declared. Now students, in history you must have studied there can be 3 types of emergency: financial emergency, war emergency, and constitutional emergency. When war emergency is there, you see we cannot even put on the light because some enemy planes which are moving over our area, our country, if they find lights down, they would drop the bomb and they can kill so many people. So नीचे अंधेरा रहना चाहिए students. That's why those who have seen, your grandparents must have seen emergency. So in emergency you can ask them. In emergency what was happening? The people could not even smoke a bidi or cigarette, because that also would get some light. Understood? So that is what emergency was declared over here. The first casualty came in the form of suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram. So during the emergency, students, certain steps are taken by the government. Okay, the trains which are stopping at every station, so they will stop only at the big stations, junctions only. Then government also can reduce the payment of all the government workers because they want money for war. They want money to purchase new weapons for war. They want money to provide all the supplies for the soldiers. So during that time, the government workers' salary also will come down. They cannot oppose it. Understood? So students, here you see the first casualty came in the form of suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram. ओके, जो ट्रेन हॉल्ट कर रही थी रामेश्वर स्टेशन पे, वो अब हॉल्ट करना बंद हो गई. बराबर, वहां उसका मुकाम था रुकने का, वो बंद हो गया. So the newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameswaram road between Rameswaram and Dhanushkodi. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameswaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles. Okay, so now his cousin Samsuddin was only involved in this particular business, students. Okay, so that's why he wanted somebody to catch the bundle, helper in catching the newspaper bundles. And then Samsuddin thought that Kalam is not doing anything. Let me take the help of Kalam. Because they would throw the bundles from the running train. Earlier train was stopping there. Now because of emergency, train is not stopping there. So they were just throwing the bundles from the running train. So somebody was required on the station to catch those bundles. Understood? So that's why here he picked Kalam only for this work. Yeah. That forced my cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspaper in Rameswaram, to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles. And as if naturally, I filled the slot. तो वो जगह मैंने भरी, यानी I became his helper. Okay. Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Now see students, earlier also we were told that he already earned that 1 anna by selling the tamarind seeds. But that time he was not hired by anyone. He was doing on his own. That activity of collecting the seeds, tamarind seeds, and selling it to the shopkeeper, that was what his own work. But here now he is hired by Samsuddin. So first time he started earning his wages. So when the question is asked, you have to write this. Okay, how did he earn his first wage? So he earned his first wage by becoming a helping to catch the newspapers thrown from the running train. Okay, but you'll have to write it in detail. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. So remember students, this is what quite interesting. Okay, whatever you earn for the first time, that will remain in your memory lifetime. You might hear your parents also, your grandparents also talking about their first earning. And then in the remaining years, in 15-20 years working life, he must have left many jobs. But this first earning he will definitely remember. Even I remember my first earning. Okay, my first earning was in the year 1999. Okay students, that's where I started working and I got my first salary. It was just 2000 rupees. Okay, and they were deducting that PF and other things. So I was getting only 1740. Still it is there in my memory. So first earning most of the people will remember. But here, first time when I got that money, how happy I was, and it is still there in my memory. So here Kalam says that that thing, he's earning his first century, even after a half a century. Half a century later means after half a century, means half century means 50 years. So after 50 years also he is good enough to take pride in earning his first money. Now also he feels how nicely he earned his first money. अभी भी उसके ऊपर उसको गर्व महसूस होता है. Understood students? So I think here we will stop the lesson. So far whatever we have learned, I think you have digested it well. In the remaining lessons, there are still many more interesting things. Okay, then he will talk about his friends. He will talk about what happened with him by one particular teacher and how one teacher reformed his wife. So all those things, students, we will see in my next videos. So till that time, stay fit, stay fine, have a good day. God bless you. Thank you.